Hello, my citizens of the world. I'm Yes or No, and I just watched Bo Burnham's Netflix special called Inside, and it has wrecked me. Apathy's a tragedy, and boredom is a crime. Anything and everything, all of the time. Yeah. So, as a person who only had 3 goals at the start of this year, one of them being to get over my screen addiction, I am falling laughably short. And for those of you who haven't seen Bo Burnham's special, basically it talks about the claustrophobia of the digital world and kind of how, like, the digital world is more our real life than our real life is. Like, what did you do today? I only talked to 2 people and spent the other 10 hours on this thing. But let's talk about this. How does somebody who set out with the goal of not being addicted to our screens end up with an average of 5.5 hours of screen time every single day for the past 4 weeks? How does that happen? I'll tell you how it happens. Capitalism. No, just kidding. No, I will actually tell you how it happens. Okay, so the majority of my screen time on here is from Safari and watching YouTube videos. And you guys are like, oh, Safari? The situation must be getting dire. And for others of you, you're like, wait a second, I saw your phone update like a few weeks ago. You said you took Safari off your phone. But guys, like every restaurant and their mother is using QR codes now instead of menus. So every single time I want to eat when I'm out, I have to reinstall the internet, take a picture of the QR code, and then like go to the page. Just for a menu! Just to eat. And then once it's on there, you know, I sort of lose the motivation to want to take the internet off my phone. It's a slippery slope. Like a digital slip and slide. Take one step onto that thing, boom! Somebody breaks a leg. It's a bad metaphor. And I realized too that when I was going throughout the world without internet, as I did the first 3 or 4 months of this year, that I was running into some situations that were very, very trying. I found that at the gym, or when I'd be taking breaks between work, or lunches, or dinners, I found myself very, very lonely without the internet. And it reminded me a little bit of that scene in Bo Burnham's special where he's doing like a live stream of himself as if he's a video game character. And the only way to get his video game character to stop crying is when the character is playing the piano, you know, aka doing work. Our work weeks have become so isolating, right, especially during COVID, that the only way to escape the crippling loneliness is to do work, right? Or to escape to the digital confines of our technology. You know, and it's interesting because I was recently watching this TED Talk of this woman talking about if we never teach our children how to be alone, like without their phones, then they'll always be lonely. But I think in my case, like we have to make a distinction between the type of lonely she was talking about, which is like the, you know, inability to be alone, inability to be independent, right? Because I'm a world traveler. I've gone everywhere, right? But like my type of lonely in regards to technology has been the type where I'm so starved for human contact where my soul is almost wilting from lack of nourishment. I say starved because human interaction really is as fundamental to our well-being as eating is, right? But it's interesting, so I almost see like junk food as an equivalent to like toxic relationships and healthy food as equivalent to like healthy relationships. So when you're starving, you don't really care, you kind of try to grab at whatever you can get. Right? And so for me, my technology was almost like the feeding tube I had, you know, just so that I wouldn't be so starved that I'd be clingy and desperately latching on to these unhealthy relationships. But guys, is it just me, or does it feel like we are living in a system where it's becoming progressively more difficult to actually create these good, healthy connections? The woman in the TED Talk said that people like to be connected to everybody, but at a distance, right? Like at a distance where they can control it when they want the connection, right? And as a result, we are further away from each other. But I also feel like what's happening with companies is making us more distant too. Like, so many are going to just purely online or remote work. Even the YouTube space. When COVID happened, they just decided, boom, all physical locations, nope, no longer open. I partially came to New York for the YouTube space, right? To meet other YouTubers here. And now that's just like been stripped away. Or like even a couple days ago, I took this acro yoga class, but during this acro yoga class, they had people who were joining us via Zoom, right? And it almost felt like the instructor's attention was divided, right? Partially between our class and partially between the people on Zoom. And so it's like, when we are living this double reality, the digital life and the IRL life, it's like when we're living that, it's almost like we always have one foot in each of the two spaces, and we can never be fully present in reality. And that's making it very, very, very difficult to like feel like I'm connected to something. Is anybody else feeling this way? Is anybody else feeling it? No, just be okay. Asking for a friend. So yeah, basically to just sum up where I am right now in my 1-year challenge to myself to decrease my screen time, basically I'm realizing this half-life, it's not going to be enough for me if I want to quit technology. Like, I have to find some way to solve that connection problem, which is pretty tough because even if you take yourself out of it, everybody else is walking around like zombies like this, or at the gym like, And so my next step solution to try and solve this is to do co-working spaces. So I'm gonna go and try those next week and see if they work. But also that kind of grates on me too, right? Because it's like, we're all there, you know, just trying to be next to each other, but now it like costs an arm and a leg to be there, and so then we need to get behind our screens to just make the money to be around each other. It's a catch-22. We're just being separate together. There it is again, that funny feeling, that funny feeling. There it is again, my Patreon link's in the bottom. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, yes, always feel free to donate to my Patreon or go watch more videos. And if you haven't seen Bo Burnham's new Netflix special yet, go watch it. I'll see you guys in the next video.